Hi everyone, happy Friday. Welcome to another weekend review. I'm not going to be that long. I hope you all are having a great, had a great week. It is the first day of September. It is Labor Day weekend, and we're 20 days away or 21 days away from autumn. Not sure which date it is, but it's autumn almost, and it's September, and we're going to still have hot weather here in the great Empire State. So, boom. As y'all know, it's still COVID. So we're going to go through these numbers like crazy. According to the World Health Organization, also known as WHO, there were 9,787 new cases around the world. The global cases, though, cumulative, is 770,085,713. And the cumulative fatalities is at 6,956,173. So again, there were almost 10,000 new cases. So the exact number is 9,787,000. The cumulative cases are at 770,085,713, and the fatalities are at 6,956,173. Unfortunately, the Americas, that includes the United States of America, have not been reporting on their COVID numbers, which they need to start, because according to these new numbers, there are some hot spots, and because of the high rates of the COVID-19 cases, the hospital admissions are 100,000 people. That's per 100,000 people, according to these new stats. So the highest is Lamar County in Alabama at 26.4, Clay County at 26.4 as well. Also, Lourdes County, Nuxby County in Mississippi, Fisher County, Texas, 25.8, as well as Mitchell County in Texas, as well as Nolan County in Texas, Jefferson County in Georgia, 19.6, Washington County in Georgia, also 19.6, Claiborne Parish in Louisiana, 19.1, as well as Fillmore County, Nebraska, 19.1. Stevens County, Kansas, 18.2. Couple counties in Nebraska, 17.6. Vermont, 17.2. Another county in Texas, 16.8. As well as two other counties in Texas. And these hospitalization rates are calculated by 100,000 per person. It's worth noting that even relatively small numbers of hospitalizations is a small community that can lead to a higher hospitalization rate, according to U.S. News. So COVID is not done with us. It's still here. And most of these states have low vaccination rates. The Midwest and the South have low vaccination rates, even Vermont itself, okay? And most of these states on this list is led by Republicans. I believe except for Kansas. All these other states are led by Republicans, and their legislators are Republican-led. I'm not surprised that we're still having this conversation after 3+ years of how to protect yourself from a deadly virus that can lead to other stuff like diabetes and heart disease and all of this stuff. But this is where we are in this country because people listen to misinformation and not understand what's going on. So this is what it is. Also, in terms of vaccinations, when I was speaking about that, there's still 70%. We're still at the 70% of people still being fully vaccinated. That's not enough. Dr. Fauci said it needs to be up to 90% where we can like declare something is over. Declaring, saying like 70% is at where we at, like no. So let me just sum this up for everybody. The United States, even though we have not been reporting our COVID cases, we still got the highest cases on the globe. We're over 100 million cases and over 1.1 million people dead. There's only 70% of people in this country fully vaccinated. 30% of people, that's still like over some millions of people that still haven't been vaccinated. So I don't understand why people just can't just get vaccinated and still wear your damn mask. Because you shouldn't be not stopping wearing your mask. You should wear your mask all the time. I do. Yes, I live in a big city, but you should wear your mask even when you're traveling in spaces that's compacted. So people need to get it together and get serious because the fall months are coming and that's cold season, flu season, virus season, and we still got COVID. And it might not be a trifecta. It might be like a quadruple or quintuple effect. So people need to wise up and stop believing in the freaking misinformation because it's ridiculous at this point. I mean, we're 3.5 years in. I don't understand what is the issue with you wearing a mask and not being vaccinated. I don't understand. I don't get it. I have no idea. And there's even people I'm close to. I question your shit. So there you go. I'm done talking about COVID because I'm getting aggravated as hell. So every time when I talk about it, I get mad because it's like, you should know better. It's not like we're in 2020, 2021. We're in 2023. You should know better. I summed that up. Okay, so your favorite senator from Kentucky, the Senate Minority Leader on the GOP side, of course, had another frozen moment. Are we surprised he's having moments like this? No. But the fact that his physician and others around him are not acknowledging the fact that maybe it's time to step down gives me pause. So y'all willing to let this man stay, but y'all want Dianne Feinstein to go, who also is retiring and needs to retire, but she's not running a second term. That's the difference. This man has not announced whether he's running a second term or not. And when he tried to, he was frozen. Literally frozen. So, I mean, I don't know why the media is not talking about this enough. This is like the second time. And this is less than a 3-month span. This is serious. And the only reason why he's not leaving, because his governor can actually fight to put a Democrat in because his governor's a Democrat. But the Kentucky state legislator, on the other hand, put in something in place where Governor Andy Beshear cannot put in or appoint a Democratic senator in there. So I don't understand what's the issue, but I would like for Governor Beshear to fight this because that we can't have moments like these no more. He's having frozen moments. He's not functioning. That's not good for the country or the state of Kentucky in particular, because y'all need money. So I don't even know. Listen, y'all need to get that shit together. That's all I'm saying. And speaking of the GOP Senate leadership in future terms, the number 2 GOP in leadership, John Thune, Senator of South Dakota, is just as extreme and just as far right as Addison Mitchell McConnell. And yes, he may dress his words up, as clear as day, as modest as day, but we really know who this man is, okay? This man has a record of doing the most. And I can name some. So here it is. Because I got time. According to 538. He voted against repealing the Defense of Marriage Act and requiring states to recognize same-sex and interracial marriages performed out of state, including an amendment allowing religious organizations to deny services or accommodations for same-sex weddings. He voted against extending the government funding for Ukraine, assisting Ukraine, allowing Medicaid to negotiate prescription drug prices, extending affordable health care subsidies, expanding tax credits for renewable and clean energy efforts, establishing 50% of corporate minimum tax, and other measures. Providing supporting the domestic production of semiconductors, expanding firearm regulations, expanding health care eligibility for veterans exposed to toxic substance like 9/11 stuff, expanding voting rights and strengthening campaign finance regulations and ethic rules, strengthening rules against wage discrimination, investing in science and technology, manufacturing and research, establishing to commission to investigate the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol, repealing a rule that changed the workplace discrimination settlement process, repealing a rule that all borrowers to get loans and interest above the limit by their state. Are we surprised? No. Senator John Thune of South Dakota is just extreme and far right as Mitch McConnell. He may wear a dress suit and may speak well, but we all know who he is. His voting record proves it itself. And what he said about people wanting a higher minimum wage because he voted against increasing the minimum wage in this country. And his explanation about it was, you can see it for yourself. It's crazy. But I'm going to say this. People want to replace John Thune with Mitch McConnell on that GOP side. The GOP, there's no hope. I mean, they have turned for the worse. Each year they get worse. Each decade and each year they get worse and worse and worse and worse. And John Thune is just one of the worst. He may not be outspoken like Ted Cruz or Raphael Cruz or Joshua Hawley or Thomas Tuberville, but he is just as dangerous as them. That's all I'm saying. And no, he is not the future of the GOP. John Thune is 62 years old. That is not the future. That's saying Rick Scott is the future. And he's almost 72, 71. They're not the future. The future of the GOP is insurrectionists like Joshua David Hawley. Like the senator from one of the southern senators that sits on the Judiciary Committee. His name, I haven't put into mind, but he's another dangerous one too. That's all I'm saying. In terms of the GOP clownery, I mean, jealousy is one of the 7 deadliest sins. But apparently, Nimrata Nikki Haley, former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, and former governor of South Carolina, has the vice president on her mind. I mean, the fact that she keeps bringing her up in every interview, I mean, woo child. Are you that pressed? Are you that jealous? Well, the answer is yes. And yay, okay, she's well versed on certain issues, right? If you were well versed on certain issues, why you did not inform certain people that their life was in danger from another source of government? Why you were not that effective as the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations? Why you was not sitting on conversations when your boss was sitting on those high-level diplomatic conversations? Where were you? And where was Mike Pompeo? Oh, yeah, y'all wasn't there. But y'all got so much to say about the president handling of certain diplomatic issues. Well, he's actually better at it. I mean, during his tenure as the vice president, his boss, forever President Barack Obama, sent him everywhere. But during your former boss's tenure in the White House, y'all wasn't as effective. So I wish people would stop making Nikki Haley, trying to clean her up and make her this polished politician, because guess what? She's not. That's all I'm saying. And I don't have no hope for her. Even though she might be the VP nominee. And, you know, yes, this upcoming election is going to be more intense and it's going to be a more uphill battle. But I believe in my party's nominees because they got this shit under control. Yeah. But I would like to say this. So voting is going to be, next year is going to be crazy. For the next couple elections, including these off-year elections and presidential elections, are going to be hell. Because this country is solely divided, not just on race, but on policies and just ideology. I mean, nobody in Congress really works together. It's barely any bipartisanship. You can thank Tea Partiers for that shit. Because the Tea Party don't want to... No, let's... Not even a Tea Party. You can thank Newt Gingrich for that shit. Because he created a nasty culture in that GOP House during the 1990s where Republicans don't want to work with Democrats. And that's the truth. Newt Gingrich created that, and that trend has been going on and on and on. So you thank him for that. Seeing that man on TV disgusts me. Disgusts the hell out of me. Because you created a bad culture in the GOP House. And it got worse and worse and worse. The GOP is gone forever. And I'll just say that. Until then, folks, you have a good night.